Massacre hearing of 3 suspected killers adjourned yesterday for the second time. Right groups call for government to speed up with justice as Ngabu massacre has greatly damaged the image of Cameroon at the international community. Those were our top stories. The news is just right ahead. Thanks and welcome to join us.
Bienvenue. Et on ouvre ce journal avec une triste nouvelle. Henri Kedjan, un accident du côté de Limbe.
Yes, thanks very much, Junior. This breaking news is coming in as signaled by the producer. By here, the breaking news is coming in from Limbe in the southwest region of Cameroon, where 2 people are reported dead at Maiwan, Limbe, precisely after a heavy-duty truck transporting cement rammed through the town of Limbe as a result of brake failure. Now, the tragedy has caused serious traffic hold-up along the road axis connecting Maiwan to mainland in Limbe. As you can watch the images there, that is the situation. And of course, rescue units have been jettisoned to the tragedy site. We'll be giving you updates as they unfold, thanks to our Southwest Regional Bureau Chief Correspondent in NES, Daniel Ondwambala. Now we continue. Nyat Jifendi Marcel and Kavai Yege Jibril maintained as President of the Senate and Speaker of the House after yesterday's election, putting in place bureau members. Now, this has come to dribble all speculations of their imminent ejection from the seat of the House. Their re-election this Thursday actually has almost, rather, for the past 30 years for Kavai Yege Jibril and for the 9th time for Nyat Jifendi Marcel now has put Cameroonians on the watch as they see octogenarians keep clinging to power. Beatrice Ngamo now reports from Yaoundé Bureau.
Cameroon's parliament maintains the bureau of both the upper and lower house, that is the Senate and National Assembly, respectively. The House Speaker, Kavai Yege Jibril, is in for his 29th time, while the President of the Senate, Marcel Nyat Jifendi, his 9th term. Longevity a bit different, but age a common factor. Kavai Yege Jibril is 81, while Nyat Jifendi 86. Their age and stay notwithstanding, they were both the choice of the ruling CPDM party for the respective posts, as decided during a pre-consultation chaired by the Secretary General of the Central Committee of the CPDM party. And that is what they got. Kavai Yege Jibril grabbed 147 votes out of 162, as some 15 MPs refused to be part of the show. This native of Maga, Tokombere subdivision, Mayosava division of the Far North region, has been House Speaker of the National Assembly since 1992. Nyat Jifendi on his part stole the day, 85 ballots out of 93, with 8 void ballots. The SDF caucus at the Senate replaces Nkeze Emilia with Mochigile Vanigansen as one of the 4 vice presidents. The only change in the 17-man bureau at the Senate. Jibril and Marcel Nyat Jifendi has maintained their post, have been re-elected, and have 1 year to chair the affairs of Parliament. The new bureau of the National Assembly and Senate now in place, time for business, the March session.
Well, thanks very much, Beatrice Ngamo. We stay in Yaoundé, where the National Assembly for the 2021 legislative year is already on. And the big question, like you are saying, is whether this old song will continue when it comes to 2022. Now, let's get some reactions, very quick reactions from some members of Parliament as you gathered for us, Beatrice Ngamo.
But we will do our best to be up to the task.
During this year, we will work better than the past year because in the past year, because of the COVID context, it has been difficult for us to gather and to work together to discuss, to decide, to discuss before decision. So I hope this new year will be different.
Well, thanks very much, Beatrice Ngamo. Those were reactions from some members of parliament after they put it in place of the Bureau of the National Assembly and, of course, the Senate. Lawyers of the civil party seeking justice for victims of the Ngabo massacre have called on the government to take the case with some seriousness. Now, this is a situation that has actually tarnished the image of Cameroon greatly at the international scene. Now, they were speaking Thursday during the hearing that was adjourned for the second time. Yaoundé Bureau correspondent Hyacinth Chair sat through that court session, and this is what he files.
It is 1 year, 1 month and 6 days after the Ngabo massacre, but effective hearings of the supposed assassins remain far-fetched. The court session at the Yaoundé Military Tribunal this Thursday simply adjourned to April 15 because of numerous irregularities. The court, not regularly constituted, one of the assessors conspicuously absent, and no sign of witnesses.
We are coming back with some mixed feelings because those of us that have constituted as a civil party, it's becoming more and more difficult for us to rally the victims. Despite calls from Human Rights Watch for the government of Cameroon to assist the victims of the Ngabo massacre appear in court, the calls seem to have fallen on deaf ears. The civil party reiterates that dark cloud lingers over the case. We are unable to forward our claim because we don't know what transpired when government went ahead to give them some gift. We don't know what transpired. Were these people coerced not to come to court? Question to be asked. Lawyers of the victims keep urging the government to bring in all the command chain of the killings, focusing on the 4 elements while leaving out the principal commanders. They say it's a mere camouflage. We did request that the command chain should be brought here, meaning the general should be brought in, the commanders under the general should be brought in, the governor of the Northwest should be responsible as well. It is worth recalling that the 4 military elements standing judgment are accused of allegations such as murder of women and children, burning of houses and property on 14 February 2020 at Ngabo, Donga Mountain Division, Northwest region of Cameroon.
Well, thanks very much, Hyacinth Chair. I hope justice delayed will not be justice denied. And in more news, stakeholders in the basic education sector have been cautioned on the proper execution and management of the 2021 state budget. Now, with over 60 projects earmarked for the sector in this year in the littoral region, focus is on the effective and efficient management of this budget. Now, Morindi reports that this sector is certainly threatened by the COVID pandemic and the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Her report.
Budget execution and management has strong significant impact on the basic education sector, which is seriously affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions. In this hall, basic education stakeholders are being schooled on how to effectively execute the 2021 budget, ensuring projects earmarked see the light of the day.
The launch of budget to the Minister of Basic Education, we hope that at the end of this workshop, we will develop capacity of all the participants, mayors, divisional delegate of basic education, sub-divisional inspectorate, and all over.
With a budget of above 481 million francs CFA for over 63 projects, the littoral region is expected to brave the odds and work towards the growth of the sector.
I hope that this will be an occasion to share the experience so that at the end of the year, the budget will be well executed.
The move is also geared towards proper auditing and finance accountability mechanisms. The launching of the execution budget for 2021 comes barely 2 months after the launching of the state budget.
Well, thanks very much, Maureen D. Junior Hussein, you pick up there with the sad news on the death of the CEO of one of Cameroon's most organized transport systems in the country, Etundi.
C'est justement une triste nouvelle pour le secteur privé au Cameroun, secteur privé des transports justement. Félix Etoundi, le président directeur général de Finesse Voyage, n'est plus. Ce dernier est mort cette nuit du jeudi 18 mars 2021 à l'hôpital Génico de Douala, ceci des suites de maladies. Le défunt était aussi conseiller régional de la région du Sud et membre du Rassemblement démocratique du peuple camerounais, le RDPC. Depuis 15 ans, Félix Etoundi s'est imposé comme l'un des actes majeurs du transport interurbain au Cameroun. Nous y reviendrons. Et on parle de santé à présent. Le choléra de retour à Douala. 10 nouveaux cas viennent d'être détectés dans la ville. L'annonce a été faite par le coordonnateur régional de lutte contre les épidémies dans le littoral. Ces nouveaux cas marquent le retour du choléra à Douala. L'information a été confirmée lors d'une conférence de presse donnée à Douala le 18 mars 2021. Pour faire face à cette nouvelle menace, une deuxième phase de campagne de vaccination est prévue du 20 au 25 mars prochain dans le littoral. Affaire Garbou. L'audience des militaires, initialement prévue ce jeudi, vient d'être reportée au 15 avril prochain par le tribunal militaire de Yaoundé pour défaut de constitution du tribunal. Les avocats de la partie civile dénoncent ce qu'ils qualifient de manque de sérieux de la part de l'État. Daniel Anissé Boudjé et Constant Kamga.
Il faudra encore attendre environ un mois pour espérer voir les choses bouger dans l'affaire du crime survenu en Garbou il y a un an. L'un des juges du tribunal militaire de Yaoundé chargé de l'affaire répond aux abonnés absents pour les débats censés s'ouvrir ce jeudi. Et ce n'est pas tout. L'un des co-accusés au nom de Tita Fort-Marswell a fondu dans la nature et demeure introuvable. Les victimes également ne sont pas représentées. La situation inquiète les avocats de la partie civile.
C'est l'État qui devait inviter tous les témoins avec les victimes. Vous voyez que la situation au nord-ouest et au sud-ouest ne permet pas que les gens voyagent n'importe comment. N'en parlons même pas des gens des victimes d'un Garbou, puisqu'ils sont un peu éparpillés partout.
Ces avocats soupçonnent l'État de remplir juste des formalités pour soigner son image auprès des ONG comme Human Rights Watch. Ils estiment que tous les militaires impliqués dans ce massacre devraient se présenter devant la barre.
Tous les commanditaires devaient être là. À partir des 17 gars qui ont accompagné les militaires pour descendre en Garbou le 14 février, là. On pensait que le général qui les a commandés, et le commandant qui les a commandés, le préfet de Donga à Mantoum, même le gouverneur de Nord-Ouest, ils devaient être au tribunal pour éclairer la situation. Voilà ce qu'on a fait et ça a donné comme ça. Au soir, ce n'est pas les consignes qu'on a données, mais on se retrouve avec 4 personnes, mais l'autre est en fuite.
En rappel, les 4 militaires retenus pour jugement sont Aranga Gilbert, Babangida, Sandy Cyril et Tita Fort-Marswell portés disparus. Les charges qui pèsent sur eux sont entre autres coercion de meurtre, incendie et violation sur femme enceinte, le 14 février 2020 en Garbou, dans le nord-ouest.
Et on reste dans les juridictions militaires. Une nouvelle équipe dirigeante pour redynamiser le tribunal militaire de Bertois. À la tête de cette juridiction militaire, 2 dames s'installent. Le colonel magistrat Alim Bia Ondoa comme présidente du tribunal et le capitaine de corvette magistrat Marie Pongwe épouse Kemgan comme commissaire du gouvernement. Le compte rendu de cette cérémonie d'installation avec Yasser Trésor-Tanon.
C'est un souffle nouveau qui plane au tribunal militaire de Bertois. À la tête de cette instance, le colonel magistrat Aline Bia Ondoa, précédemment présidente du tribunal militaire d'Eboleva, qui prend les rênes en remplacement du commandant magistrat Honoré Samuel, muté premier vice-président et juge d'instruction au tribunal militaire de Douala. Après avoir passé 2 ans au poste de commissaire du gouvernement auprès du tribunal militaire de Bertois, le commandant Martin-Paul Efangono, muté au même poste au tribunal militaire de Garoua, cède son siège au capitaine de corvette magistrat Marie Pongia, épouse Kemgan.
Nous sommes satisfaits de l'action que nous avons pu mener parce que nous avons pu installer sur place un climat de cohésion où les hommes faisaient ensemble et au niveau du service. Tout se passait dans un esprit de famille. Et nous avons mis sur pied un certain nombre d'initiatives aux journées d'évaluation qui ont connu son écho. D'abord ici à Berthois et ça s'est étendu dans toutes les juridictions militaires.
En présidant la cérémonie officielle de passation de commandement, le docteur-colonel Didier Dogmo-Sipa prescrit une ligne de conduite bien précise aux nouveaux dirigeants.
On demandait d'être professionnel, qui est nécessaire pour la qualité du service à rendre. Ensuite, nous avons recommandé la cohésion parce qu'avec la cohésion, on est sûr d'atteindre les objectifs. Et enfin, nous avons demandé de soigner des bons rapports avec les autres administrations qui collaborent dans l'administration de la justice.
Avant de procéder à la passation de commandement, la délégation venue de Yaoundé a rendu visite aux autorités administratives et judiciaires de la ville de Berthois.
Thanks very much, Junior Hussein. And we now talk COVID with the new strain that is spreading across the country. The population of Banjul has been warned of, or has been schooled rather, on the need to make sure they respect the barrier measures. In fact, this sensitization campaign was championed by the Senior Divisional Officer for Kunki, Jubaina Jean Daniel, as you tell us, Joe Ngong.
It was in the transport sector, specifically motorbikes and taxis, and amusement sites of Banjul, that the senior divisional officer of the Kunki division and his staff raised public awareness on barrier measures against the new wave of COVID-19. A mission that comes as part of the official launch of the awareness of the population on the resurgence of the coronavirus pandemic. We have come to remind you of these measures, that you can apply them now like you have never done before. The senior divisional officer has instructed for the training on barrier gestures to limit the spread of the pandemic in Banjul. Barrier gestures are simple but very effective. We are therefore asking people to respect the measures as it will break the chain. I think for motorbike riders, there is some laxity, but as days go by, we are becoming more and more aware of the existence of the virus. It is worth noting that the spread of the pandemic in Banjul is rapidly increasing, enough for the population to mobilize as one. Every day we receive reports of positive cases. We at first thought it was a joke, but today we know it is real. Coronavirus exists and it kills. Besides the sensitization, inhabitants of Banjul have benefited from face masks, among other items, for the collective fight against COVID-19.
Well, thanks very much, Joy. We're sorry for that mix-up there. We move on with our news. In line with the coronavirus pandemic, the regional delegate of transport in the East region has intensified strategies on the pandemic. Now, the delegate equally seized the opportunity to talk to the transporters on the conditions and, of course, the resurgence of the new virus. Joy Ngong once more.
Here lies the lifeless body of Julian Towa Atengena. She just lost her life in the center of the city of Berthois, hit by a heavy-duty truck. Yet another fatal accident that occurred in the space of a few days on public highway in Berthois. The worrying situation, coupled with the resurgence of COVID-19 in the eastern region, pushed the regional delegate in charge of transport to intensify sensitization. The delegate equally checked the conditions of transport vehicles, compliance with the authorized speed, but above all, compliance with the barrier measures against COVID-19. An operation much appreciated by the drivers. It is worth noting that this is the umpteenth sensitization campaign organized by the Eastern Regional Delegation of Transport in a bid to achieve the goal of zero road accidents in the Eastern region.
Thanks very much, Joy. And we move over to the Southwest region, where it has recorded 30 new cases of the coronavirus pandemic in just 2 days. This rising rate of COVID-19 has taken the administrative authorities and public officials to place such health to carry out more aggressive sensitization campaign in motor parks, markets, schools, and on the streets. Ines Daniel Undwabala report.
This is the My 17 busy motor park. Park users seems not to be conscious of the dangers of COVID-19. The wearing of face mask is optional.
The forces of God, understand? Tell them. They see a bus without people wearing the mask, the passengers, no mask. They redraw the forces of God, they redraw the driving license. Because we cannot continue to expose other people to have disease.
In markets, schools, and other public services, water standpoint are virtually absent, a phenomenon which calls for sensitization.
First of all, what we notice is that most of the people, they have their mask belt in their pockets. When they see now, they see the governor, they see the GO, the mayor, they remove the mask to put it. The mask is to wear the mask. It's not to please the authorities. It is to protect their own health.
With the ever-increased numbers of COVID-19 cases, there is need to launch an aggressive campaign against the coronavirus pandemic, as the Southwest region has recorded 30 cases of coronavirus in just 2 days.
We realize that from the beginning of this year, we have registered an exponential increase in the number of cases of COVID-19. So what I think we should be doing is to get back to the drawing board.
Southwest Governor Bernardo Kaliabilai talked consciousness while sharing face mask. The crusade against coronavirus pandemic takes on in the Southwest region. It is hoped that people become conscious on the importance of observing the barriers measures.
Thanks, Ine Daniel Ondwambala, Junior Hussein.
Voilà. J'attendais cela. En tout cas, en culture, parlons de ce film documentaire sur la vie de Thomas Sankara. Le film a été projeté à l'IFC de Douala. Notre reporter Yassé Trézotanon a regardé le film pour nous. Reportage.
Au Burkina Faso, après l'insurrection populaire d'octobre 2014, Bikontine, un jeune poète, décide de partir à la rencontre de ses concitoyens le long de l'unique voie ferrée du pays. Du sud au nord, des villes en village, d'espoir en désillusion, il met à l'épreuve son rôle de poète face aux réalités d'une société en pleine transformation et révèle en chemin l'héritage politique toujours vivace d'un ancien président, Thomas Sankara.
Nous sommes contre la morale, la dignité, le respect de la parole. Parce que nous estimons que nous n'avons pas la même morale que les autres. Entre le riche et le pauvre, il n'y a pas la même morale.
La projection du film documentaire ce jour à l'Institut français de Douala à l'occasion de la francophonie place les cinéphiles dans l'esprit révolutionnaire de Thomas Sankara, également sur le rôle du poète dans la société.
C'est un film très poignant qui traverse un peu le Burkina Faso, qui va un peu vraiment dans ce qu'on appellerait l'arrière-pays.
Très très beau film, très touchant, très profond.
Malgré la mort de cet héros africain, il a marqué l'histoire et il a gardé son immortalité dans l'esprit de son peuple.
Le choix du film documentaire n'est pas fait au hasard.
Il nous fallait quelque chose d'assez poignant et relativement récent. Donc, et à force avec la toile aidant, nous sommes tombés dans ce documentaire qui nous a semblé vraiment approprié à nos désidératas.
Pour plusieurs citoyens burkinabés, les hommes ont changé à la tête de l'État, mais le même système est resté et encore plus vorace que l'ancien car la vie est devenue encore plus dure.
Et un autre film, c'est celui tourné par l'équipe PWD de Bamenda, victime d'un accident de la circulation. Le bus de cette équipe de football a pris feu dans la nuit de jeudi à vendredi. En effet, en déplacement pour Yaoundé, où cette équipe doit affronter justement Dragon de Yaoundé. Dans le cadre de la 3e journée des Ligue 1, le bus du club s'est enflammé. Bilan, aucune perte en vie humaine, sauf du matériel brûlé. Henri Kédian, c'est ici que se referme le Trésor sur Canal 2 International.
Oh, thanks very much for watching. And of course, you got information that Kavaye Jibril and Jipenji now occupied a seat at the lower house and upper house of assembly. And of course, the sad news just came in from Limbe, where a truck load of cement rammed through the town and crushed 2 persons. We'll be expecting updates from that incident, but we got news that rescue team have been deployed by the administrative officials of the town of Limbe. Thanks for having been part of this 1 p.m. news. I've been Kejang Henry Atebe and Junior Hussein thanking you. Keep the rendezvous till Monday.